All right, guys, welcome. This is the first lesson. I'm just going to teach you the basics about like blockchains and how it all works. It's going to be super quick, just a high overview of how this technology works. So basically, what is a blockchain technology? You can imagine it as like a shared notebook for transactions and payments. And instead of like one person keeping an entire record of it, the copies are distributed across many computers, across different people, and then eventually, that's kind of how it grows across the world. So all these nodes are interconnected, and everyone gets a copy of the same booklet, so to speak. And anytime there's a new entry or a new transaction that happens, it gets updated to all the other records as well. That still doesn't make sense. Don't worry. Um, I'll explain it further. So there's like three different styles of the distribution. So the first one here is centralized. So that would be like a bank, right? So a bank is a single entity and it controls multiple bank accounts for everyone across the world. That's how money is made, right? A central bank prints the money and then the money gets distributed across the world. A decentralized example would be something like BitTorrent or like a torrent streaming website where everyone has a piece of the file. And whenever someone's downloading it, it kind of gets connected and shared across all the nodes, people who are holding the file. And that way it can spread kind of like a virus. Um, and more computers get access to it. So decentralization is the opposite of centralized. It's when there's more than one person or entity in control, and that's how Bitcoin works. Is there's multiple computers, running all this crazy Bitcoin mathematics on it across the world, and basically no matter how hard you try to stop it, it's basically you can't stop it because it's no single piece you can attack. It's multiple people across the world. Distributed computing is kind of similar. Um, anyways, the key components to understanding blockchain is that there's nodes, which would be these hubs right here. These black dots are nodes because they're the central hubs where everything else spreads out and gets connected. And then there's blocks, which is like I said here. So each person in this square is a block. And once they approve something on a transaction, it gets updated to the other blocks. And then all these blocks are interconnected across the world. Consensus is when all the nodes agree that a transaction has happened and it gets unified and updated accordingly across all nodes. Now, the difference with how Solana works is Solana is a little designed to be different than Bitcoin. Solana is actually more centralized because there's centralized nodes that are running the chain essentially, and they keep up the network, and anytime there's a trade or a transaction, it has to run by a node. And that's why you have the option of staking your Solana because you dedicate your Solanas to a certain node, and then because that node is doing all the work, you get paid a little bit in transaction fees. So Solana speed. This is just an interesting chart here. So this is comparison of transactions per second, right? So Bitcoin can process around 7 to 10 TPS. I don't know how updated this visual is, by the way, so just keep that in mind. But in general, this is how it goes. So like Ethereum is pretty slow at 25 TPS. PayPal can handle 193. Mastercard can handle 5,000. Visa can handle 24,000 transactions per second, and then Solana's like 65K. So it's just speed running everything. That's why everything is so cheap when you do a transaction on Solana and fast is because of the way it's designed. Now, if that still doesn't make sense, you can just look at this analogy. So, when you order a package online and it gives you a tracking number, right? When you look up that tracking number, it tells you the progress of where the package is in the mail. So it tells you it left the FedEx center and it's in Missouri, then it goes to Minneapolis, then it goes to New Jersey, blah, 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 whatever, right? It shows you the whole progress of the journey of that package. So in the same way, when a transaction is being sent on the blockchain, you can type in and search up a wallet address, which would be like a person's tracking number, and then you can see the entire history of that wallet and every transaction they've ever done. So just like you can track a package, you can also track a wallet, and you can see everything they've done historically. And then, when your package finally arrives in the mail, it's confirmed and updated on the tracking number, and it says that it's arrived at the final destination. And similar here, when you look up a transaction of a wallet, you can see where the final transaction goes to, if it's a different wallet or if it's the same one, and you can see what they're doing with the money. So that's basics of a blockchain. If you want a more in-depth video, you can watch something on YouTube, but it's not too important. You just need to kind of understand a high-level overview, how all this stuff works and how it's tracked online.